everybody, and welcome to another edition of Magic Mics, proudly sponsored by our Patreon supporters and CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, and our co-sponsor Cardhoarder.com, offering the best inventory prices and delivery of cards for Magic Online. I'm Evan Irwin, and we get started each week by saying hello to my two co-hosts, Aaron Campbell.
Howdy, y'all.
Ruben Bressler.
Hey, y'all, how y'all doing? This is going to be a great show, and we're real excited for y'all to be here.
We're going to poop far and save matches, y'all. That's what we're going to do.
That is a saying I was unfamiliar with, and I love it.
We're going to put a hitch in your giddy up.
That's right. Fix your wagon and cook your goose, I'll tell you what.
We also get started with our trumpet blast. You can get one if you support us. Our highest level on Patreon. Don't have one this week, but we could have one if you support us there.
Nice.
We kick it off with the first pick in the giveaway. The giveaway is a $50 gift certificate. Get in on that with exclamation mark raffle right now in the chat. If you're a subscriber, you get 2 entries. You get 2 bites at the apple, as it were.
Nice.
And we then have our first pick. I think this week, for whatever reason, you know, of course, there was the announcements of the special invites from Wizards. And I think with those special invites and the culmination of the frustration and just the annoyance that so many of the competitive players have, it kind of came to a head this week where the Mythic Championship, Wizards' idea of organized play is not going well. I don't really know exactly how to say it, but holy cow, it's bad. And no one's saying anything, and no one's really kind of getting us there. Let's start at the beginning, okay? Let's note that the Mythic Championship 3 is coming. 68 players, 32 MPL members, and 36 challengers for $750K prizes. This is where they gutted the prizes for second, third, fourth, and so on, so that they could have everyone guarantee a $7,500 payout. And there's plenty of awesome, fantastic Magic players on here in the invite list, and there's some that you may not have heard of, and diversity is great, and that's fantastic. And yet, we still don't know what an MPL is. And yet, we still don't know what it takes to get these magical invites. And yet, we don't know why some other people that are very well known in the Magic community, whether it be streaming or no,
or just good,
are not a part of this for whatever reason. And so it kind of devolved into this ball of frustration that all these different pros kind of have a different look on the aspect of it. And going from the Magic Pro League to, you know, I like Spin-12 there, the Magic Influencer League.
Sure. Kind
of being a thing. Well, let's take it one step at a time. Now, they announced the invitees, and I won't bother to go over them because Lord knows we don't want them to go get harassed or whatever. But they also noted the broadcast team, for the first time, includes Cedric Phillips on the official, you know, Pro Tour, quote-unquote, the Mythic Championship stream.
Right.
It's only taken, 7 years? 8 years?
This is really noteworthy, particularly because I remember when they had the coverage summit and they had invited, you know, a dozen or so people over to WotC HQ, and they had a weekend of panels and ways to make coverage better. And Patrick and Cedric were notably absent from this, notably left out of this. You know, 2 of the best coverage people in the game were not invited to this meeting of how to make coverage better. And so the fact that we're here and Cedric is part of this is a really, really big deal.
Yeah, this is the classic, you must be truly desperate to come to me for help moment, right? Honestly, I was surprised that this was an announcement. This always seemed like this was a thing that for whatever reason, was never going to do. Yeah. I don't know what the reasoning was, but, I'm sure that there are reasons to have not had Cedric in the past, and they have decided to throw caution to the wind and do what they can to get their viewership, because there is no doubting the fact that Patrick and Cedric are the best in the game.
Well, even outside of coverage, I mean, look at how, for those of us who were watching the Invitational this past weekend, look at the way that SCG made that event look. You had the nice chairs, had the boogie boards, they rolled out the red carpet for these folks. And you can't deny that SCG puts on a good show outside of commentary. And so the fact that Wizards seems to be opening themselves up to that feedback or to making themselves better, that's a good thing.
We finally got that coverage area with the metal scaffolding that I tried to sell Evan on 5 years ago, which was nice. I always like seeing that kind of esports stage. It seems like that was a big success. It was a step forward for that kind of coverage.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was really good, no doubt about it. And I think they're setting the bar in ways that Wizards needs to kind of catch up to. And I mean, I'm a little biased in that I kind of originally hired Patrick and Cedric, and like that's lightning in a bottle. Like it didn't take. It only took one show where you were like, "Holy cow, that was better commentary than I've ever heard at a Magic event." And you just go from there. And Cedric, being the professional that he is, elevates whoever he works with. So Cedric and Marshall in the booth is going to be awesome. I can imagine if they're going to be paired up together.
Now we've seen what happens when you have Cedric and Kibler in the booth, which was not lightning in the bottle.
Yeah,
that was.
I mean, you definitely have to know your role, quite honestly. And especially if you're going to have two big personalities together, one of you has to be okay with not being the star all the time. Like you have to know, like, one of the things that we've had to learn on the show is sometimes you have to let Ruben, you got to let you have the joke, you got to let somebody have the floor, and you know that you'll eventually get the spotlight back on you. But for some combinations, that's not always easy to do. And that was something that I really feel like Brian and Cedric kind of struggled with. And I think that Marshall and Cedric will be able to do that dance very well.
So is it my turn to talk yet? No, I'm kidding.
The format for the Mythic Championship 3 is weird. It's not duo standard. I'm very happy it's not duo standard. That was ridiculous. But day one is modified Swiss. Players are going to battle it out in up to 8 rounds on Magic the Gathering Arena. Players who earn 6 wins will automatically advance to day 2. Players who lose 4 matches go home. So, okay.
Fine.
That's day 1. All right, day 2. Top 16 double elimination, which is kind of new for Magic, which is kind of neat. Top 12 from day 1 join the 4 Magic Pro League divisional champions from the Spark Split. If you don't know what a Spark Split is, don't worry. Not many do. Well, it has something to do with like Pokemon colors or something, and how people are into different Pokemon sets, and somebody won. It's fine. But the top 12 from day 1, you're going to join the 4 Magic Pro League divisional champions from the Spark Split in a 16-person double elimination showdown. Only 4 players will move on to Sunday. Day 3 is top 4 double elimination. 4 players compete in a true, check this out, double elimination tournament in the grand finals. The winners from the upper bracket and lower bracket will face off. The player in the lower bracket must win 2 matches to win the tournament.
Yeah.
So
this is as is noted in the chat. This is very similar to the College World Series format. And so this is a proven, tried and true format. This I have no problem with whatsoever. I actually think that this is probably a better way to handle Pro Tour style tournaments than what they had done previously. I really like what they've done with the format. I
mean, the duo standard was a pretty low bar. Let's face it.
But even I like this better than traditional Pro Tour format, personally.
It could be super exciting, and I'm all about it. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
But again, as the kind of this really does feel like the tipping point of like competitive players going like, seriously, Wizards, why? What am I doing? All these people saying, should I go to Seattle to get the last bit of pro points? If Wizards does this crap where they're like, these mythic points or these pro points that you get, the very last events somehow counted for 2020 and they didn't tell you about it. Like the unbelievable amount of daggers that come out of that, the amount of resentment, the amount of just seething pain that comes out of an announcement like that. Again, even from the original MPL, you didn't know that the top 32 were just going to get chopped and then they were going to pick an MPL from there. Who knew? Yeah. But now there's nothing, and there's not even nothing. It's 0. How do you go from 0 to MPL? Question mark.
The theme of today's show is going to be the opaqueness of the whole system. Even with the positives that we are touching on here at the top of the show, there is just so much vagueness and unknown.
So let's go ahead and start with some reactions. Yoshihiko Ikawa said, at Magic Esports, we're competing for World Championship on the basis of the Mythic points. 16 special invitees will get a free Mythic point. And he said that it's unfair. Please consider... Yeah,
this take is not one I'm not on board with one because I don't think that you're going to get... Like, the folks that are getting invited to these, which are like Silver Showcases 2.0, 2.1, like these players aren't dangers to take your slot away, save for maybe LSV, right? Like these are not people who are... This is not... I don't think this is it, Chief.
No, this one ain't it, Chief. It ain't, and it's fine. I just noted that this is kind of where it started.
Yes.
And so then all of a sudden, Ari Lax kind of shows up talking with Mott Ross Merriam, and Ari's like, the structure of arena events and the structure of the organized play as a whole is his issue with the MPL. No person in the MPL or in the MC Top 8 or in these sponsor invites is at fault. The OP department really is. And, today I noted on Twitter, I feel like Wizards organized play is just in a crisis. Like, what in the hell are they doing? And why don't they say anything? Man, you ain't got to lay it all out for me. But you got to give me something. You got to give me something.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
We need a commissioner is what we need. We need a Paul Tagliabue or a Bud Selig or whoever's in charge. We need someone in charge of the league, not just OP. I mean, an organized play director is fine, but we need someone whose only job is the league.
So... and now the tide started turning, and this is something I talked about with the Cool Stuff Inc. crew who goes to Grand Prix. Cedric Phillips came out and said, he's competitive as they come, yet he came to an interesting revelation yesterday, which is he has no reason to play in the main event of the DC Grand Prix. I mean, it's a glorified PTQ at this point with a lot of prizes, and he said he's just gonna go grind MCQs, and that's pretty much it. And even Brian Gottlieb, who is on the GAM podcast or the Game podcast with Jerry, said, think I've come around to the idea of just playing MCQs in Seattle. And as I was noting with the guys at the booth who go to these events, the main events are getting smaller. Yeah. And then the side events are getting more full and more filled up with players because you've taken all the panache out of it. You've taken all the star building out of it. There's no coverage at all. Sometimes do the winners even get posted to wizards.com anymore? I don't know. And if they do, did they take the picture with a potato? That's a possibility. You just never know. And it's like I appreciate CFB trying that text coverage thing, but man, it's 2019. Like, we left that behind 10 years ago. It's time to move on. And so it's just uncomfortable, I honestly, to see the failure of Grand Prix from what was when I was in New Jersey and there's 5,000 people under one roof playing Legacy, over 4,000 people in that Grand Prix. Like, that was amazing. I loved that. That was incredible.
Yeah.
And now we got like 800 person GPs, and that's like average attendance or something these days in the US. Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I don't see any winners on the Wizards Popes website. I'm just clicking through as you're talking, and I see that if I go to the events page, the most recent event I see is Phoenix, and even then, oh no, this is just the Magic Online, but I can't really click on it. Like, there doesn't appear to be any content here. And then it talks about the Mythic 2, and then it goes back to Autumn. But yeah, it doesn't seem like that's a thing anymore.
So Matai Zadelkai, which was, he's a former pro, former commentator, all-around fantastic dude, said that since the Mythic Championship London, he has grown disillusioned with Magic, and his playing time on Arena and offline has dropped to nearly zero. The impact of Wizards announcements on my friends makes me sad, and I'm usually the optimistic type, which he is over the years for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of this, he says, relates to his personal situation, so let's make sure we keep that in perspective. But there's no constant barrage of new sets. There's a constant barrage of new sets with a never-ending spoiler season. That's kind of where we're at. There's no GP video coverage. Less interest in GPs and MCs because there's no replacement for the old pro club. Like, the best Magic players on the planet lose 33+% of their games. Okay, a third of their games they just lose. Okay, yeah. You can be the best player on the planet, but that doesn't make you're going to spike every event. And that's the beauty of Magic, is that you could just learn how to play and you beat John Finkel, because that's just kind of how the cards, the cards and the luck and the skill and the victory, and that's how it all works together. And that's what those pro clubs rewarded was, just keep at it, do your best, practice, show up to events, and we will make sure that you are qualified for these bigger events to give you the opportunity to do the work to get the rewards. And now that's not there anymore. And it's just unbelievably uncomfortable. You have Brad Nelson here. He said his brother's streams ranked in the top 50 players from the 2018 season, didn't get into the Red Bull tournament, but his friend who does not play pro or stream does. 2019 Magic is reminding him of interdimensional Cable from Rick and Morty.
Right. For those of you who are unfamiliar, that's Corey Baumeister is the brother in question. They do the Bash Brothers podcast together. Corey, formerly of the Droppin' Bombs article series. And at this point is a pretty well-known content creator. So when we were talking about the Red Bull series, and again, this is a whole third-party situation. This is a different group of people making those decisions. But again, with the lack of clarity of exactly what's going on here, if Corey Baumeister isn't up to snuff for your tournament series,
Shuhei Nakamura. Shuhei was
another one.
Shuhei Nakamura doesn't get to these type of events. Come on. That guy's been to like every Grand Prix ever. It's unbelievable. Yeah, right. Oh my God. Well, look, I think the most insightful take happened earlier today, just like 5 or 6 hours ago. Ben Schwartz, who is a long-term Magic sort of luminary commentator person, noted, he said he sees what Magic is doing as the perfect lens through which to view the struggle that the esports industry faces today. Is esports a competition where the best player wins, or is it iSports, influencer sports, simply a marketing ploy for pub devs to move product? There are 3 games that he keeps thinking about when he tries to wrap his head around these changes. It's League of Legends, Hearthstone, and Fortnite. With League of Legends and Overwatch, you have competitive esports run by the dev. At first, both these games took a laissez-faire approach to star building.
Can I give you a suggestion?
Yeah.
If you're going to talk about a 20-tweet thread, can you post it in the chat so the kids can follow along?
The kids can definitely follow along.
Okay, just saying, because that thread's something.
That thread is the thing and the stuff. Let's bring it up here. All right, so the link is in the chat. There you go. All right, so he noted that thus far it's been hard for the League of Legends and Overwatch people for these companies to prove the value of these leagues and these programs. People understand that there's an inherent value. You know, there's popularity, and they trust that this version of the system works. For the most part, it does. Hearthstone is on the other end of the competitive spectrum. They had these influencer-only tournaments when the game launched. Remember those? They got views and Hearthstone was successful, but sans a few outliers, new stars weren't built outside of streaming, and the competitive league didn't catch on. It's crazy to think that Hearthstone seemed poised to kill Magic a few years ago. Remember that? It was like,
right?
Oh
that
man.
Hearthstone money? That
Hearthstone money, it was real. Then we moved to Fortnite.
Be careful what you wish for. If you want to become Hearthstone, you might just become Hearthstone. That's what that is.
I mean, look at and he said, you know, it's even crazier to see the big HS streamers move over to Arena, a MOCS,
yeah.
Liquid Show, and all that stuff.
Yep.
So when we move to Fortnite, you get to really weirdness, which is individual players having magnitude of more viewers than the actual epic stream of the official event.
Which we saw this week, as we talked about at the top of the show, I think.
But it wasn't during a large event. It was during their Spark split thing or whatever.
Sure.
But Fortnite shows that maybe there's a world where these big money tournaments don't make sense. Influencers don't go to them because they can make more money streaming from their house. And we heard that from, I think it was Sabin, and he was like, I'm just not going to this Barcelona thing because you can make more money just staying home.
Said it in the past as well.
Yeah. So, where does Magic and the recent announcement of the MPL fit into all this? I can tell that Wizards sees the following, 1, Arena's a hit, which it is. 2, influencers have brought them a huge amount of viewers. And 3, maybe having an entire tournament series isn't necessary to hit their goals. He says, I feel like they may have gotten this one wrong. I don't think they need to have the pro club to incentivize new players to go pro, but they can't have nothing. You can't have nothing, Wizards.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be much. It could be an online tournament series that rewards consistent Mythic players. But he fears they're hurling towards Hearthstone. They'll get to run these flashy events with top influencers, and the player base will increase temporarily. But in a little while, people will start thinking, what's the point? If their goal is to make a successful, profitable game, they'll get that. But I don't see Magic taking over the world with this model. I don't see tournaments with consistently 100,000 plus viewers. I don't see this as a boost as anything other than temporary. And in fact, based on what we've seen and heard and learned, Wizards is inflating these things with dollar bills, buying all these views and these metrics to make it look like this is all a great idea and this is all moving upward and outward. And maybe it's not, essentially.
Yeah. This is such a good thread. First of all, if you don't know who Ben SW is, he's a former Twitch engineer who is most famous as the "not like this" emote. You can feel free to. I'm going to post some spam in chat for you there. Some of the collapsing in on the head. Very smart gentleman. Used to work for Twitch until earlier this year, I believe. With some great insight. Also a former Magic commentator and a former Magic pro. Boy, there's so much to unpack here. The bottom line for me, though, is that the direction is questioned. I don't think that I have seen it put in such a way, but I am very frightened now that we've lost our way. Where OP used to be the strength of Magic the Gathering. When we first started this show, the first episode of this show was from Grand Prix Las Vegas, which was during Grand Prix Las Vegas, and I broadcast from Grand Prix Las Vegas. And we've done shows at Vegas, and it's always been a big event. And now, like, Vegas is coming up, and it's not that big of a deal. Other Magic Fests are coming up, and they're not that big of a deal. What is happening? Like, how do we save them? How do we
that was
save
always
ourselves?
the one strength that we had. Even when Hearthstone was doing its thing, we could point to a lot of things that Hearthstone did well, but Hearthstone's weakness was that it didn't have good organized play. We were able to say, this is all going on, but we at least have this, and now we can't say that anymore.
Look, this was weird. This was like when they announced all the MPL craziness, and I believe I said something to the effect of on Twitter, like the one thing that Wizards did right was organized play. And then I had heard privately from Wizards people who had mentioned, like, hey, like, what do you mean? We'd have so many problems and so many complaints. It's like, well, yeah, we had issues with sort of the hows and whys of different parts of it, but boy, I always understood how it went from A to B to C to D to pro. Like, I that was never in a question. Maybe I was upset with how you treated those pros. Maybe I was upset with the way that you implemented your pro club and what you gave people and how you supported them. But that doesn't mean I didn't understand how it worked. That doesn't mean there wasn't a clear brass ring that was on that mountain that if I could get there and if I could do well in those events consistently and not necessarily have to spike them, but if I could just do well consistently and get those pro points that you dangled out in front of me, then I can somehow get there. And we don't have that anymore. And it's freaking chaos. And this was one of those things where you don't know the damage. Wizards doesn't know the damage they're doing right now. It is long-term. It is systemic. It is going to be awful because you're not going to see it right now. You're not seeing. We're living in Ravnica. You know what? You understand what we're saying? We're living in Ravnica with an Oops All Planeswalkers set. You guys, we are living in the buffet. We are living in the ice cream buffet. This is the good times. This ain't Kaladesh. This ain't Amonkhet. This is Ravnica. Ravnica is always popular. Ravnica always works. Ravnica standard is always sweet. We're not going to be here forever. And when we're not here forever, and all of a sudden you start getting a little disillusioned with why do we even care to watch these people play this event at this top level that didn't reach the top level when we always at least understood and saw how person A got to that Pro Tour. You understood how they got to that Pro Tour. And I'm not trying to dish anything on people who got invites, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The point is they blew that up. And man, I have heard from so many grinders, big, small, just go to PTQs. They only go to FNMs. They're just like, I am just so not interested in competitive Magic anymore. And it's really frightening. Like, and you see Grand Prix get smaller and smaller. Yeah, their side events can get bigger, and that's great. But where does the top level of Magic go? You just cut it off at the head, and you expect us all to be happy with the chicken that's running around. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so let me cut to the bottom of the page. From a business standpoint, do they care? I mean, they must. They must care on some level if they're still supporting it at all, right? Like, you're not going to pump and resources into a they could just say no more Grand Prix.
But right? Are they really pumping any resources? They've delegated so many of the responsibilities to other people that, either even the judge program is largely is independent at this point, where it's my understanding that Wizards Wizards has removed themselves from so many of the things to where it is CFB running the show. It is the judge program running the judges, to where they're not even paying for product anymore. It's up to POs to do that now. So, you say that they're putting resources into it, but are they? Like, they've done a pretty good job of pulling as much out of it as they can.
They've realigned resources is the way that I would put it.
Sure.
But, right. But, again, and this is the way I could see that they justified it at the corporate level. At the corporate level, they would say, you know what? These super spiky pro players, people who just grind on the circuits or whatever, they're not buying product. They're not buying packs. We're not getting rich off the back of those people. Why are we giving all these people prizes and support? And for the top level, we give them appearance fees and all this other stuff. Well, what you don't see are all the people that those people inspired. all the people that want to be like that want to follow behind them. And those people buy lots of product. Those people attend lots of events. And you have ruined all of their inspiration that they got from those players because you took away the path that those players took.
Yeah, you were buying a different kind of loyalty. You weren't buying brand loyalty with singles and packs. You were buying brand loyalty in that those were butts and seats, where those grinders whose flights you paid for or whose hotels you paid for, those guys went to every single event. And now you have these streamers that are on camera saying, I've got better things to do to go to your event. And so, I mean, this might lead to, you might be catering to a different audience, and that might lead to more packs. But again, that issue of what is the real cost of all of this, and is it worth it?
I'm just going to leave on this, okay? I want you to explain, this is the world that we're living in right now. This is a good example as to how insane the world is right now. The guy who won the last Mythic Championship.
Oh my God, this poor guy.
Was not invited to the next one. Wizards, it's broken. You broke it. For real. Seriously, that decision alone says that you don't know what's going on and you're freaking me out. And that's a problem. And to someone to even me to start to get a little disillusioned here with what Wizards is doing and do they really care about organized play and about the really top levels of the game? Guys, this is a problem. For real. And this is a problem that I'm telling you about now because I don't want to say I told you so in 2 years when things are bad, when the player base is shrunk, when I have just gotten completely disillusioned with organized play for Magic, period. F&M's going to be suffering, between the GPs are going to be suffering. I don't want that. I don't want to be crazy guy on the corner screaming. I just want to say, if you're not inviting the guy who won the last one to the next one, seriously.
He's invited to the one after that.
Go off, I guess.
Where we at? What are we doing here? What is our lives right now? What is our lives? Okay. All right. Let's move on here to gather the townsfolk. We live in a world where this Friday, 2 days from now, Modern Horizons is releasing. You can't currently buy it right now. But on Monday, the previews for M20 are starting.
We have our previews. I mean, we've been blessed.
We do.
We certainly do. And it's cool, and it's going to actually tie into what cool stuff releases on the same day, which is going to be really sweet. So take a look out for that next Wednesday. It's going to be great. But
and the Broken Pact has a preview this time around. Everybody, the D&D show. So
look at you.
I know, right? We got another preview card. And
do you have your embargo date when you're going to release it?
So that is going to be our Broken Pact is coming the 24th, which is a Monday.
Okay. Well, our preview is coming next Wednesday, a week from tonight.
It's so soon. The turnaround is so soon.
I mean, this is Wizards. Wizards has never done this. 3 major set releases in 3 months, back to back to back. And between this and the Mythic editions, Magic players have never been squeezed so hard. And while it did recover, and it has recovered, quite a bit, honestly, what happened with Modern Horizons, let me show you a little sales chart. Sales chart was like, oh, it's spoiler season. Oh, it's spoiler season. Oh, spoiler season's so good. Oh, the last spoiler came out. Burnt. And that's it. And then it just kind of went splat. Now, it's recovered a little bit since then, but let me tell you, the enthusiasm level after the last Mythic was spoiled just went splat. And not that there's anything wrong with that in terms of we all got excited, we all got hyped, but then the hype ran out, and it was not a standard set, so you don't need it for F&M or any of that stuff. And some of the Commander players can get singles, which is great. But, here we are into Blink, and it's M20 time.
It's crazy. It's too much.
Well, what we do get to see, and I ain't complaining. I mean, I'm a Magic player. I love new cards. It's Christmas season forever. Why not? We got 3 Chandras. Not 1 Chandra, not 2 Chandra. 3 Chandra. An uncommon, a rare, and a mythic. And this is the only uncommon and rare planeswalkers in the set because it's all Chandra all the time. There are additional planeswalkers, but they're mythic only. They're not going to have rare versions. They're not going to have uncommon versions. This is a good point to mention that we have gotten the toothpaste out of the tube for uncommon walkers, and you're never going to put it back in. Yep. Wizards is always going to have the option to use an uncommon walker, just like they can use a rare walker, and they seem to have created a few rules around them. But at the same time, this is an uncommon walker with 3 abilities. Let's first talk about Chandra 2 Shocks, old Chandra Novus Pyromancer. a red and 3 generic mana for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. With +1, elementals you control get +2/+0 until end of turn, which I think sounds like a tribal set. -1, add 2 red mana. Okay. -2, she deals 2 damage to any target. That's your uncommon.
Fine. Okay.
It's fine. It gets a little more interesting as we go to Chandra, you blink weird. Chandra, Acolyte of Flame is, and I'll go ahead and link, you guys can check that out. I know what they're trying for. I get it. It's funny to me. Anna Steinbauer is an amazing artist. I love you. It's one of the things. Chandra, Acolyte of Flame is a 3 mana planeswalker, 2 red, 1 generic mana for a 4 loyalty planeswalker that has 2 0:: abilities. The first 0:: ability is put a loyalty on each red planeswalker you control. Remember, that includes yourself.
Yeah.
0:: create 2 1/1 red elemental creature tokens. They gain haste. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. -2, you may cast target instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard. If that card will be put in the graveyard this turn, exile it instead. So, buying back your bolts seems pretty awesome.
Okay.
Making other planeswalkers good seems pretty awesome.
Is there a reason why these aren't on screen? They're normally on point with that.
Normally, it's the difficulty of doing that. All right, hold on a second. I'll give it to you.
We've been doing the show for how long?
A man tries to describe things. All right.
He gives me crap for not finding the top 10 comment.
That's every week, dude. Okay. All right. So
apparently it's preview season every week now. So
it is preview season every week, as it turns out. So there's I have the uncommon version on screen. Check it out. Chandra Novus Pyromancer. It's pretty cool.
Okay.
Chandra.
Are you saying Novus?
Yeah, novice.
Novice?
Are we tomatoing this? Are we for real?
No, we're saying tomato in that literally no one says tomato.
I don't know anybody who says novice.
I mean, tomato is more like British, right? Like,
well, novice is not that though.
But novice and novice.
Get him, Chad. Get him.
Nobody says novice.
Nobody says novice. Okay. Well, y'all can be weird if you want to. It don't hurt my feelings. It's fine. I do have Chandra Blinks Funny and Winks Funny on screen right now for your perusal. So you can take a look at that sweet rare walker. I think this rare one in particular is fantastic.
The 3 mana one is super busted.
Super good.
The card is really, really good.
But speaking of super good, Chandra Awakened Inferno is the mythic version. 2 red, 4 generic mana for a 6 loyalty planeswalker. That the little static ability here is this spell can't be countered. +2, going up to 8 loyalty. Each opponent gets an emblem with at the beginning of your upkeep. This emblem deals 1 damage to you.
It's gonna be fun in Commander.
It's gonna be amazing. -3, Chandra Awakened Inferno deals 3 damage to each non-elemental creature.
Now, the best part about this card, as pointed out by the Amazonian, is that she plays well with Nissa. She doesn't hurt Nissa's elementals.
Yep,
it's true. And for
how adorable is that?
Yeah.
And for -X, she deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that permanent dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead.
This is an amazing. I mean,
the emblem's stacked, by the way. The emblem's 100% stacked.
Yeah, of course they do. This is an absurd planeswalker.
It's crazy. This card is so good. It's hard to like fully wrap your head around. No matter what happens, she resolves. Like, you slap that down, you're going to kill their best thing with the targeted, you're going to wipe the board if they have a bunch of weenies, or you're going to start killing them really quickly with emblems and knocking this thing up to 8 loyalty. Good luck killing it over the next turn or so.
Nice Teferi deck that has 85 untapped lands, a Search for Azcanta active, and 35 cards in hand. I'm still going to deal you a damage every turn. Like, even if you have the Vraska's Contempt, you're still going to never ultimate Teferi.
Oh, are you going to take an extra turn with Nexus of Fate? Oh, that's cool. How many emblems do you have again? All right, ding, ding, ding.
Right.
That stuff adds up, as it were. And this is the type of monster mythic that can come down and just change the game all around herself, which is sweet. So
well worth the 6 mana investment, that's for
sure. So Aaron, how do you feel about these 3 Planeswalkers, uncommon, rare, mythic versions? They're,
You're asking how I feel about a red planeswalker.
well, more about a design of
that doesn't discard.
Right, if there was an uncommon rare Lily or a mythic Lily,
I definitely think that. I mean, I love seeing the impact that the uncommon planeswalkers have had on Legacy and Vintage and Modern. Even the fact that Narset and Karn and just these other planeswalkers are making such a huge dent in these formats, I think opens up a really, really nice space. And I hope that they continue to make them good. And I think it's a good thing.
Ruben?
I like that Chandra, I like focusing on a character in this way. I think that that's a really interesting way to say, this is the Chandra set. We have multiple Chandra planeswalkers. Since the rule change of being able to have multiple Chandras in play or multiple Oops All Gideons or whatever the format ended up being, is an interesting thing to do from a thematic perspective.
From a Vorthos perspective, it's also a neat new way to show the evolution of a planeswalker. So we saw the baby Jaces. We saw like the babies, the origin planeswalkers. This is another way that you can show off a planeswalker's journey of the, this is the first step, the second step, and the third step. Someone else made a reference to like a Charizard evolution with her being kind of the fire, planeswalker. And so I think this is also just a neat way of, again, showing a planeswalker's journey as opposed to just showing one side of it or doing the flip thing. I like it.
There you go.
Yeah, this is a really, really great way to showcase that. I was perplexed at the shift in styling of Chandra as a person who is from Kaladesh and presents as very white in these arts.
Yeah, there was a bit of discussion about that regarding her, the race aspect, and whether or not, because it was something that came up around Kaladesh before of her heritage and whether or not Wizards backpedaled on this, and it wasn't really my lane, so I was just more
right.
Yeah.
Also not my lane, but worth pointing out.
There was a discussion happening. I just was letting the people that should be involved in that do that thing.
Yeah, she's kind of a white girl, and you can take that. You can take that and run with it however you want. I ain't got no dog in that hunt. Just saying.
Right, and it's cool for your stylized planeswalkers. It's cool for maybe an alternate art version, maybe, and certainly for the 6-mana version where she's just on fire. Okay, she's ascended past race at that point, I suppose. Is the argument that we can make into her elemental form. But it is strange that you have this you have this angle that you've taken and then just sort of abandoned. So that did. I like these cards. I wish that they had spent a little more time thinking about that decision.
There you go. All right. So congratulations here to Oli Aintrazi as being a part of Tempo Storm now. As there was an official announcement today.
Cool.
Or not today, rather. It was a few days ago now, about 6 days ago, where they announced that Oli Eldrazi on Twitch, as you guys might know him, he's going to be the newest member of their Magic the Gathering division, which is fantastic. So congratulations to Oli. Of course, sponsored by CoolStuffInc.com, and he's a great dude. So check him out if you haven't.
Tempo Storm picking up a bunch of previous people, or a bunch of people who aren't in the Pro League, the Magic Pro League, and sponsoring them officially, entertaining character in the Magic community for sure.
Very nice. All right. So next up here is one of the sponsors of the show, Cardhoarder, which is great, and we like seeing Cardhoarder doing well. And do note this doesn't say a whole lot about Magic Online and what Magic Online's doing or whatever, but when Cardhoarder says, due to the very strong demand for Modern Horizons and the current strength of the MTGO economy, they're increasing their event ticket buy price to 94 cents each. Now, that may not sound like a lot, but that's huge. The fact that it's not getting worse, it's not going down, they haven't stopped buying tickets, like, those are the markers, in the sand of how Magic Online stops existing.
Yeah. You can probably thank, the play lobby changes for that. That made people come back to Magic Online, Modern Horizons. You cannot play that on Arena. So there are a lot of people who, normally stream Arena that are taking a break to draft the set and to play the set. You have the Hogok, that is breaking Modern right now, and people are dying to try that. So there's a number of factors that could be leading to this resurgence in Magic Online. And I think it's a great thing as somebody who prefers Magic Online myself.
There you go.
Yeah. How the turntables. We're talking about Magic Online increasing in demand and Magic Arena perhaps not as much.
I mean, I don't see Arena slowing down for what it's worth, but
Right.
I mean,
guess
Arena
we'll
is super popular, billion games played and what have you. But
So there was an article that came out for the WPN. This is the Wizards Play Network for stores to give them 15 changes every retailer needs to know for Magic 2020 core set.
okay,
And it's pretty sweet, to be honest. Like, for example, this set has more foils in it. If you look at the back of a War of the Spark booster, the second to last line says premium card odds are approximately 1 out of 67 for M20. It's going to say 1 out of 45. So more foils. That's great. There's going to be more foils per box. Maybe there's going to be 2 foil rares per box instead of 1. Guess we'll see. The bundle gets an upgrade, which I think we spoke about a little bit, which is there's going to be 20 foil lands in it now instead of just 40 non-foil. There's going to be an alternate art foil promo card. They haven't told us what that is. And an oversized spin down life counter, which is going to be nice.
the oversized spin down seems cool. I'm worried that it is going to take up a lot of space in people's shoebox collections, but other than that, I think it's a neat addition.
Absolutely. So they're also going to start with the Friday pre-release. Remember this M20, you can have your pre-release Friday at 3 o'clock.
Good news.
It's about friggin' time.
Getting too old for these midnights. I'm getting too old for a 7 p.m. It's just
Man, I got too old for midnights years ago. I was just like, y'all crazy. I stayed up till like 3:30 and I was like, what am I doing with my life?
delirious. Yeah.
It was not a good idea. There is going to be a Commander event on August 24th and 25th for Commander 2019. Luckily / thankfully, the release calendar slows down a little bit after M20. We get around to Commander, and then we kind of slow down until the big fall set. So there is some breathing room in there.
Right, because right now we've got Horizons coming out this weekend, previews for M20 start next week, then Signature Spellbook Gideon comes out the week after that, and very soon thereafter we have M20, and it's just every week, every day is something else. And so
I think just hearing about it.
Exactly. We need those dog days of summer to come by.
Absolutely. So there's a few other things here. For example, WPN premium stores are going to test out the best of one events. I believe
they were doing that at SCG-Con too.
Exactly. Right. And the feedback that I've heard is that it's great for Arena and it's not great for paper. So maybe
I believe
not.
that.
I guess we'll see. You can try it at your premium stores. Magic Arena codes are going to be at F&M on August 16th. WPN members that have signed up for the M20 F&M will receive Magic Arena code cards to hand out to players. I know Erin's excited. She's ready to get that Arena code, pop that sucker in, get to crushing. It's going to be great. Note the London Mulligan is officially going to happen as a part of the release, which is awesome. And the introduction of Universal Promo Packs, which will include I think it's a 25% chance on the 4th slot to have a Japanese War of the Spark alternate art Planeswalker.
Cool.
Which is
those are great.
Cool. Stores are using those in a whole variety of ways, which is cool. And Wizards is rewarding you for doing things like playing more events and whatnot. So, for example, one of the things that Cool Stuff Game Stores is doing, and we have a whole bunch of premium stores, is want to reward them for like some smaller events that you can do just kind of one-on-one, like heads-up constructed type stuff, or sort of the Pi Gal, which they've renamed essentially to Turbo Town or whatever. But those types of events we're using to try to get more entries, and as a result, we're letting people sort of put getting stamps on a card thing, and you can put your name in a fishbowl and maybe get one of those promo packs. That's all foil, because Wizards does note when the cards are all foil in there. So that's terrific.
I did see some feedback from some employees from smaller stores on Twitter that were a little concerned about number 15. Starting with M20, you'll get buy a box promos in quantities based on your tickets and engaged player totals. We've talked about how problematic the engaged player counts are, especially if your store leans towards modern, and that doesn't necessarily count as engaged players. And so there were a couple of folks on Twitter that were saying that they have small stores that survive on box sales, and this could be reducing the number of promos they get, and they're not really looking forward to that. It's great for big stores, but not necessarily for the smaller ones or for the ones that don't cater to the right audiences.
Interesting. Let's see. Spin-12 notes that it was confirmed the Japanese cards won't be foil. I would like to know that for sure, because as I understand it, that's not correct, but who knows? If you have a source, please let me know. I absolutely want to know. We want to hear through Desperate Ravings. Aaron, tell me a little bit about what Nick Sabin wrote about his Judge Burnout experience.
Yeah, so this was a post that Nick Sabin shared. Nick Sabin used to be a level 3 judge. He'd been judging for a very long time, and he stepped away from the program. He, kind of demoted himself, if you will, and then came back later as a level 1 and basically wrote about his experiences and why he took that time off and how he looks at the judge program differently, after his absence. And this was really, really informative, really, really relatable. He has a lot of really great advice for judges and even for players. There were a lot of really quote-worthy lines here. My favorite is where he's talking about what he learned, and the message that he has for other judges is, you are not obligated to fly across the country, sleep on a hotel room floor, and subsist on a diet of chicken fingers and Monster for the sake of doing deck checks at a Magic Fest. Woo! What?
Tea, y'all, tea. It's spilled everywhere.
It's not wrong, though, and I think anybody at any step in Magic can relate to this, whether you're a grinder, even as a content creator. We spend so much time talking about Magic and observing Magic and just keeping up with things that I don't get to play very often. I play a lot more Commander now than anything, but I haven't had a chance to play with Hogok, and I haven't had a chance to play with Force of Vigor. I'm probably going to get a chance this weekend, but we spend so much time just, being on the outside looking in that we get burned out in very unique ways, and grinders get burned out. People like Ryan Overturf and Anthony Lowry have been talking on Twitter about how harmful the grind can be, how much you really have to go through and how much you have to sacrifice to stay on the grind and stay relevant, how quickly it all falls away from you. And so no matter where you are in the community, if you are behind the scenes or in front of the scenes, I think this is a really good read. I think everybody can relate to something in this. And I'm really, really glad he shared this.
Absolutely. Mr. Nicholas, as we know and love him from my days back at SCG, he was a co-worker back then. Judge Nicholas typically goes by Nicholas instead of Nick not to avoid confusion with the Alabama football coach. Great dude, really insightful thoughts here. Also definitely worth a follow on Twitter at Mr. NBS if you want to pick his brain for more thoughts.
There you go. All right. So fantastic writing there. Let's see here. Magic Online had a Magic Online Championship series. Was it like a full-blown MOCS this past weekend?
It was a MOCS, yep.
And they blew it. And then they didn't say anything for like 4 hours. Am I right on that?
I was having such a good episode, enjoying that Magic Online had like a good week. And everything.
This bothered me, and this bothered me for a very important reason. So my friend, I'm going to be very open about this, my friend Allie Medwin had published a tweet on her personal Twitter account, and she basically voiced displeasure with players contacting her about Magic Online things on her personal Twitter account. And we've seen this behavior before from certain Wizards employees, this sort of bemoaning the fact that they can't have personal Twitter accounts and that they don't like people finding them on their personal Twitter accounts to talk about work. The problem with that is they would be coming to your personal Twitter account if you gave them the ability to give feedback and to receive feedback. She tells people to go to the Magic Online Twitter account. The Magic Online Twitter account didn't respond to anybody, not a single person. When this MOCS thing was going down, go look at that Twitter feed, go look at those replies, not a one. So you direct people to a Twitter account that doesn't respond to you. And then you direct people to a feedback form, which by all accounts, if you go on the Magic Online subreddit, people either didn't hear back or they didn't hear back for at least 4 hours. So instead of getting mad at the player base, go get mad at the person who made that decision so that they have to come bother you on your Twitter feed. That made me so angry. And we've seen that before from Wizards folks. And it drives me nuts that you're going to blame the player base because you guys don't give these people the resources to give feedback and to receive it. And I'm shaking. I don't like that.
at 2:18 in the afternoon on June 9th, and I believe it's supposed to start at 10 a.m., they finally tweeted out, after unexpected issues this morning, we're rescheduling today's MOCS event. Yada yada. The participants will get some boosters, and that's cool. And they're sorry. And
Free boosters.
And then Paul Riesel says, "Thank you for the update. Multiple people have asked me where they should look for info in these situations in the future to avoid sitting by their computer for 4 hours. Where can I send them?"
That Twitter account that they posted that one tweet saying that the event was canceled, and then they said nothing for 24 hours until Yelger said his league didn't work. Like, you can't. You have to give these people don't want to be bothering you, but they don't have anywhere else to go. And if you're not going to give them a Twitter account that works and nobody's manning it, and you're going to give them a form that you know damn well no one's going to read, you cannot get mad when they come find you. I'm sorry, you can't do that.
It's just
remember, they also got rid of all of the ORCs.
Exactly. So what are these people supposed to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But you know, and people are just, again, if like at 10:10 or something, 10:10 in the morning or whatever, you'd have been like, we got some serious problems. Please hang on. We'll get back to you ASAP. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be huge. It could just be like, there's a problem. We recognize it. We'll see you soon. Give us a minute. You know, like just keep us in that loop. I know it's uncomfortable. I know you don't like saying things are broken, but it's better
to
than
blame the player base. It's infuriating.
It's just to have to wait 4 hours for you to understand something was even wrong and that it wasn't just you know, which a lot of people are asking themselves, which was crazy. Speaking of crazy, there was a weird post on Blogatog about how people get mad about MOWU. First of all, you get mad. You get mad about MOWU, about the best boy?
Just to give the folks in chat some context. So apparently the rule with planeswalkers is that planeswalkers can't take living things with them. Like you can't put your arm around somebody. You can't take your partner with you. But evidently, Jing can take MOWU with him. And some Vorthoses felt that this was a huge mistake or a huge loophole. And somehow it got back to MaRo's ears. And MaRo had to talk people off the ledge and say, it's fine.
Yeah.
People sometimes get like this weird, like as someone said, they said it's interpreted as you having lied to us the whole time with the maliciousness that phrase implies.
The point though, doesn't Watley bring dinosaurs with her?
Yeah.
So
wait, here's the difference. Okay, wait a minute. There's a difference between creating dinosaurs and there's a difference between bringing the dinosaur with you. So maybe Watley makes them like from the ground up, whereas MOWU
just like
is just the
Garrett
MOWU.
can make beasts and Freyalise can make elves and whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, don't go attacking MOWU. I will end you. I will hurt you. That's bad. You don't go after MOWU best boy. That's not cool.
Magic players love their dogs. They do.
That is not okay.
This is a ridiculous thing. First of all, it's literally called Magic. The game is called Magic.
Yeah.
Like, suspend your disbelief, people. Like, this is where we're drawing the line. Like, I can abide Sarkhan turning himself into a dragon. I can abide a dragon god living for 8,000 years and deciding
this is too damn far.
I can abide a crazy satyr person from Theros attempting to ascend to godhood.
God.
I cannot stand for a tiny corgi being able to transport through the worlds with the best boy.
Oh,
like,
man.
Come on, like, pick your battles. And this is so
we have enough to get mad about.
This reminds me of the like, you know, in Star Trek episode 34, he's wearing this hat, but in Star Trek 72, he's wearing a different. It's like, calm down, people. It's magic. Like, why is this so hard?
It just sucks. I mean, for what it's worth, it was sort of a nice way for MaRo to have a platform to explain, you know what? Maybe the people who make your games that you like
aren't out to get you.
Aren't out to, like, make things awful or, like, to trick you or to lie to you. Like, give me a break.
I also really like the explanation here, which is there are some things that y'all don't understand about how planeswalking works. Yeah. There's still mystery in the world.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Oh, it's terrific. Oh my gosh. All right, here. So let's see. As a part of a result, I think as a reaction to the outcry of why can't we just afford plane tickets? There's not enough money for plane tickets for these things. The NRG, the Nerd Rage Gaming, they announced they noticed players' concerns. They said on Twitter here, on social media regarding affordable travel to the Mythic Championship Barcelona. They want to do what they can to make sure that their MCQ winners up to make the trip. Their event is a $5,000 prize pool event. But
at a water park, bitch. It is at a water park. They have it's an amazing venue. I've played there before. They had hotel rooms as part of a hotel block for like $100.
Oh, it's Grey Wolf Lodge. Nice.
Thank you. It is sweet. And so I was contemplating going. I don't know if I will, but Nerd Rage is one of the TOs that I love. I absolutely support them. They always roll out the carpet for me when I come. They put on a really great show. They have a really great roster of judges that they use. They always pick sweet venues. I've never had a bad time at Nerd Rage. And so if you're in the Midwest area, or if you feel like flying out, they are one of the few TOs that I always try to attend their events, and they just do a good job.
There's a Great Wolf Lodge on the way to where my grandma used to live, from Columbus, Ohio, out to Licking County in Alexandria.
Licking?
Aaron, please.
Let me be clear. This is not Lincoln. That's
I didn't know if I heard that correctly.
Licking County.
Licking County. Jesus. Okay. Well, that's amazing. All I note is, let's bring our $100 of Magic cards to a water park. Is a weird.
Park. Yeah, I'm assuming it's not going to be held in.
No. The rooms are very far away and sort of.
I'm just being silly. Yes, it's silly to bring cards to a water park.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, they have places away from it.
Mono blue control.
Yeah.
Nice. Something funny to revisit. As of 2 days ago, it was exactly 10 years ago that the M10 rules changes happened.
And they ruined Magic.
Magic's dead. I hope you guys had fun these past, 10 years or so, but we were all finished back then. We're all done.
This was pretty comprehensive. This was the rules change that made exile officially a thing. They got rid of the terminology for remove the game.
Battlefield.
The damage on the stack went away. Mana burn went away.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of other, tiny clarifications that we don't really think of, but actually happened around this time. This document is huge, and there's diagrams. Death Touch, that was cleaned up a little bit. It's a static ability.
Yep.
Lifelink is now a static ability as well. This is just a treasure trove and just a fun little time capsule that you can look at and just kind of remind yourself of the way that things were.
This was a giant bomb in terms of how Magic changed. M10 was a huge set. It was absolutely terrific. Wizards got back to their roots. They had incredible power levels pushing on the Mythic cards. Baneslayer Angel was incredible. And as a result, we also had a lot of just common sense stuff. If you go back and you think of how people were freaking out over losing combat damage on the stack, which was just so stupid and awkward to explain, when you're just like, no, man, damage just happens. During the damage step, that's how the damage steps works. And Death Touch got a little weird, but it didn't take long for us to figure that one out either.
No.
And man, did anyone literally stone anyone miss mana burn? Actually one person go Magic threw us better with mana burn. No, it wasn't. It was awful and silly.
You got to bring out the commander guy of I actually kind of like mana burn, and it's very intuitive and makes the game more colorful.
That one guy who plays the prophecy cards. I see you. I see you. I know what you're doing.
Nice foil Citadel of Pain you have there. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. So I don't even want to talk about splash damage. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I can't.
Nothing good's going to come from it.
No, it's not good.
No.
So basically E3 was this week, and there is a person named Dr. Disrespect who was banned from Twitch for a week because he did something stupid, and his name is Dr. Disrespect. How did we not do that?
Just for a week?
I think he was only suspended for a week. I'm not sure.
Wow.
I don't travel around in that scene, but he was recording in a bathroom, which is that. And also there were probably almost certainly people who were 17 years old in said bathroom who didn't sign release forms. You get in trouble for stuff like that. You get kicked out of E3. You get suspended from Twitch. All that good stuff.
Oh no, he lost his E3 badge. He'll never get one again.
Yeah.
Whereas Tiny Streamer.
We could talk about Puka Trade.
We could talk. I don't know enough about Puka Trade, and I don't want to misrepresent what he's trying to say.
I didn't know that there was anything really to still talk about, but apparently, I guess they're trying to bring Old Girl back. I don't.
Well, people were apparently doing some, and this is to kind of bring it back to Jonathan Medina, amazing dude, terrific guy.
Discovered me.
Has been running Puka Trade now for a little while. And notes that there were things like shadow trades going on where people weren't actually trading things. They would just say they were trading them to game the system, essentially, because, Magic players, gamers going to game.
Yeah.
And as a result, they've essentially changed it to, unless you're on their top tier subscription program, you're going to be charged a fee for every transaction, no matter how big or small it is. That is as I understand it. And that Puka Trade, when it was cool, when it was the hot stuff, was pretty sweet, and lots of people loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing Esper Dragons back when PucaTrade was a thing, and I remember getting my flip jaces. I think I got 2 of my flip jaces through PucaTrade, where I didn't pay for them. That was when they were 60 to 80 bucks a pop. My Lion's Eye diamonds, I think I got 1 or 2 of my diamonds through Puka as well. And so,
Wow.
when it was good, it was really good. It was a great way for my FNM at the time gave a lot of packs away. I wasn't playing standard, so I would trade all my standard rares away and buy, modern and legacy staples with it. And so I don't think it can come back. I just think too much has happened and too much time has passed. And I would be very surprised if it was able to do, what it was able to before.
I mean, and he's honest here, and Medina's always fantastically honest, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the biggest problem it faces the user base contraction. I mean, there's just less people using PucaTrade, and
well, I mean, to be fair, everybody's moving. If everyone's playing Arena right now, it stands to reason that there'd be less cards to trade around. Yeah,
that's part of it, I think. The other is, I think, the way sort of PucaTrade went down, more or less, was pretty bitter in terms of the way that people felt about it.
A lot of damage control there.
But also, if you have a smaller community, it's a tighter community that's going to know each other and trade with each other with more confidence and things like that, which is nice. But, and part of this is me bringing this up because I want you to, hey, PucaTrade exists. Maybe you should check it out. Maybe it's a thing for you.
And if you have more questions, there is a Discord specifically for PucaTrade where Dina is going to have a question and answer session on Monday. And of course, he has his regular live stream where you can ask more questions as well.
Okay.
Wow. All right. So let's move on here to turn in the quarter to the finisher. We're going to do a few things. First, let's pick a winner for our gift certificate. And the winner is 3, 2, 1. Congratulations to Lady Atarka.
Hey!
Yay!
I love her.
One of our regulars who says that it's rigged. So
I adore her. Just an FYI, I've been a little bit behind on giving out gift certificates. There's at least 2 people I still owe codes to, but I haven't forgotten about you. It's been a crazy week. So shoot me a message. Atarka, you're not blocked. Come holler at me. I've got a code for you. It's fine.
Holler at your girl. Okay.
Holler at your girl.
At your girl. That's what we do. At your girl. All right. So that's happened. And let's go ahead and get into our thanks for all of our awesome subscribers. A few days ago, let's see, last week, I want to make sure I catched Instev.
Catched?
catched.
Caught. You say words, and sometimes you're like, I need that to be past tense, and it sounds stupid.
And Stev, that's our buddy Nick.
Yes.
Nice. Something to do with Harold, subscribed, tier 1, thanks a lot. Jeremy's _iron, subscribed about 3 days ago. That's really sweet. Sheth DMMD, resub for 8 months. Welcome, thanks. And you almost got your sub, baby, which is terrific. The P-Lot, resub for 7 months. MTG
the pilot, Evan. The pilot.
He's not a rice.
Rice P-Lot.
Sorry.
He could say Matei Zalakai, but he can't
Right.
say...
What are you, some kind of novice?
I'm over here just rocking those Japanese names. And the P-Lot. All right, so the pilot resub for 7 months. Thank you so much. MTG Pack Foils resub for 9 months. Got that. Sub, baby. Hey, y'all, it's a foil girl. He'll call her Elspeth. Survival Guides resub for 5 months. Woot, love the show. Thanks a lot. Kaburi has subscribed via Prime. Welcome. Thanks for sending those Bezos bucks. Ray_Lay has subscribed via Prime. Welcome to the channel. Let's see. Super Nintendo Chalmers 1998 resub for 10 months.
Let's hear the Simpsons quote this time. What is it?
Didn't add one to the sub on this one.
No Simpsons quote this time.
Camel Drags has subscribed via tier 1. Welcome to the channel. Thank you very much.
Camel Drags said some amazingly sweet things about us on Twitter. So I see you lurking, and we love you. Thank you.
We talked about you in the pre-show if you are a patron. Also, the pre-show this week
is particularly filthy, and it's all my fault.
I'm just going to say it is an 18 plus, not safe for work. I'm not kidding you.
And we all got a little candid in this one. You will hear Evan say words today you have never heard him say. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Just saying. Just saying. Ruben, what are we doing for our bits here?
Well, I'm very uncomfortable now. But for the bits, because we started out the show so Southern, And because we P-lotted and we Novused and we...
What is wrong with Novus? I really need to know that one.
This is going to be read by Mr. Southern Gentleman here, Mr. Lou Boo. 40 bits. Thank y'all so much for coming by. House of Shadow, 169 bits. That's real nice. Thank you. Mill Cows, 200 bits. Under Voice _1, 200 bits. Martin Casa, historically known as Kaka, but more accurately represented by Martin Casa, 200 bits. And, of course, Horseman 778 gave us 729 bits. Woo! Thank you all so much.
And I just want to say a special hello to Farid, who's coming to us all the way from Chile. Come on, I see you, Global Fish. Thank you for joining us.
Wow, and thanks to
Mr. International folks in chat.
And thank you to Mr. Labufu for sliding in there with 40 bits.
Nice. Yes, thank you.
Made that in there. That's fantastic.
Chile had their had the women's national team debut at the World Cup this week. So nice. that was a nice moment.
All right. So the Electronic Entertainment Expo, commonly known as E3, is the premier trade event for the video game industry and is occurring this week in LA. Among those in attendance were the platonic ideal of wholesomeness, Keanu Reeves announcing a brand new Cyberpunk game, Jon Bernthal brought his adorable pupper, and the whole world fell in love with Ghostwire Tokyo game designer and world's most adorable human, Ikumi Nakamura. So with Magic moving ever closer to the esports side, what announcement are you holding out hope for at E3 2019, Ruben?
Thank you all for coming to E3 Games announcement for Magic the Gathering 2019. This year we are extremely proud and privileged to have been invited and give you our announcement for the future of the Magic Pro League. It's what you've all been hoping for, a clear path, the pro lifestyle and the championship. It's just not the path you might have been hoping for. Introducing Magic Arena 2020, a.k.a. Twitch Streamer Tycoon.
Very nice. Aaron?
Hi, friends. Thank you for having me at E3 2019. I'm here to present to you the big announcement that you've all been waiting for. We've heard you and we respect you. So starting with Mythic Championship 7, the first one of the new year, we will be awarding every MCQ winner their very own personal GoFundMe account. You get one, and you get one, and you're going to need one, and you get one.
You can bag it. You can bag it. You can bag. All right. Greetings, gamers. Thank you for coming to Wizards of the Coast announcements panel at E3. I'm extremely happy to present you the announcement that you have all been waiting for since May of 2017. We're paying Helene Bergeau as much money as she demands to come back and save us all from ourselves.
Please,
let me miss you.
Did you see that someone tagged her the other day? I think it was Vorthos Mike. I think Mike's going to France for something. And he was like, does anyone know like any magic stores in France? And Helene was like, no.
Jeez. Wow.
She's living her best life. She's in Florida. She's doing the thing. Bless her heart. I love her.
She is great. All right, let's move here to our final slide. That ends another live episode of Magic Mics. Let me back up here so I can say goodbye to you guys. That ends another live episode of Magic Mics. It does. Thanks for joining us here to discuss all things Magic. I can get the words out of my face. Thank you, Aaron.
Jeez.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ruben. Thanks, buddy.
Boy, you ain't the sharpest tool in the shed, ain't you?
I'll be over here with my novices. And my novices.
Apple bubble off a plum, God love him.
You couldn't hit that goodbye with the broadside of a barn.
That's right.
That boy's elevator don't go all the way to the top, bless his heart.
That horse done ran out the barn, y'all. That's just, it's gone.
That dog ain't gonna hunt.
Mm-mm.
That dog's done too much hunting. You've seen.
I got 5 kids. And we move to our final slide. I want to thank our sponsor, CoolStuffInc.com, our co-sponsor, Cardhoarder.com, my co-host, Aaron Campbell, Ruben Bressler, you guys for watching and listening, and hope you support us at Patreon.com/MagicMics. Please follow, like, tweet, favorite, share, subscribe to everything social that tells people we exist. Catch us online on our Discord, twitch.tv at MagicMics, on Twitter at MagicMicsCast, our Magic Mics subreddit, and like the Magic Mics page on Facebook. Talk to us privately at MagicMicsPodcast@gmail.com. Follow the audio-only podcast at MagicMicsPodcast.libsyn.com, or find us on iTunes or Spotify. Or join us here next week, same time, same place, for another episode of Magic Mics. Good night, everybody.